Hey everybody, Modim B'Simcha. Hope you're having a wonderful Pesach. I know I certainly am. At any rate, Art Scroll, the Art Scroll publication, the Art Scroll people, someone recently signed us up that they send out these weekly pamphlets to us about the Parsha, and they have a number of short blurbs about their books, giving you a bit of a free taste, free sample. Hopefully you'll buy the book type of thing. At any rate, I came across something that I thought was a very, very nice idea that I want to share with you. And it's about a fellow in Borough Park of Brooklyn, Rabbi Mendel Weiss. The Art Scroll people say, although he dressed in layers of old rags and musty coats, those who merited to know him testified that Reb Mendel was a lofty, holy Jew. Very nice. And he points out something very interesting that I never thought of before. We read in the four questions. One of the four questions is Shabachol Halelot Einanu Matbilim Afilu Pam Echad. On all other nights, there's nothing special. There's no obligation that we do any dippings. Halayla Hazeh, but tonight the Pesach Seder Shtei Pamim, twice. The reference being when we take the karpas and we dip that in the salt water. The salt water symbolizes the tears that resulted from the difficulty and the enslavement of the Jewish people in Egypt. So we put the parsley in the salt water, and also the maror, the bitter herbs that we dip in the charoset to kind of take off the bitterness. Again, an idea of bitterness. Those are the two dippings that we make reference to. But he points out something that's a little problematic, and that's on Rosh Hashanah. We also have two dippings, but we don't make a stink of it. We don't ask a question. There's no focus on it like we have in the Haggadah. And the reference to two dippings on Rosh Hashanah into the same thing. We take the apple and we dip it in honey, and we say a little prayer, a little wish for a shana metuka, a good tova metuka, a good and sweet year. And also, when we cut the challah, when we eat the challah, rather than use salt, we dip it in honey. So he asked the question, so what's going on here? Here we also have two dippings when it comes to Rosh Hashanah. We don't talk about it. There's no formal question about it. We just accept it and do it, as opposed to Pesach, where we do focus on that. So the simple answer that he gives is that when it comes to bitterness, the salt, the maror, when it comes to difficulties in life, that's when we ask, why me? That's when we focus. That's when we question and we wonder what's going on. That's when we get theological and ask, why do bad things happen to good people? But when there's honey in our life, when life is good, when we're feeling good, when we're healthy, when things are going well, we don't ask the question so much. We don't focus on that. We don't get all theological. We have a tendency, unfortunately, too often to take that for granted. And so that's how he answers this, is that we don't focus and question it, because unfortunately that's the human condition, that we take it for granted and we don't question when our life is honey and sweet and good. It's only when there's bitterness of salt and maror, that's all of a sudden when we get all worked up and start focusing and questioning. And I think the simple lesson here is not that you shouldn't question. No. Of course, that issue of difficulty and challenges in life is probably the main theological issue that people grapple with. But give fair play to the good that's going on in your life. Focus just as intensely on the good stuff as you would when things don't go so well. So thank you to the Rabbi, Holy Rabbi Mendel, for that little idea. Chag Sameach, and have a good Shabbat.